raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
We have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty.
Now you get RFK Jr.
Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
You get Tulsi Gabbard.
Putting our country in a continual state of war.
You get Elon Musk and you get J.D. Vance.
A hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
The right-wing Avengers.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength.
Shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one.
The rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
The golden age of America has most definitely begun.
Begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
They're getting the dirt bags off these trees.
There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump.
What's storm, Mr. President?
Go find out.
Thunder breaks, the ground is shaking from the weight. Voices crying in the night, but freedom burns a steady light. We hold the line, we won't let go. Through every trial, the truth will show. This is your daily dose. Open your eyes, see through the smoke, see through the lies. Rise from the silence, hear freedom's call. One voice, one people, united we stand tall.
Hearts awaken, chains undone. A new day breaks, the dawn has come. Through every battle, through the flame, our faith in God remains the same. The storm may rage, the night may fall, but hope will answer stronger than all.
This is your daily dose. Courage and fire, lifting the weak, lifting us higher. Not by the sword, but the truth we recall. Where we go, we've seen the darkness try to reign. We felt the sorrow, we've known the pain. But every trial has forged the steel. In God we trust, His plan is real.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh. Welcome to the Red Pill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Friday. Late start tonight. I know. I apologize for everybody out there like Josh. I was on a roundtable with, Scott McKay and Michael Jaco, and it went almost 2 hours. So I apologize for that. Didn't expect it to go that long. But hey, we are here now. And so a few different announcements tonight, directly after this show, probably about a 40-minute show tonight. So after this show, maybe a 30-minute, because there's not much news, not much happening, but I got a lot to say about it. But about a 30, 40-minute show, and then we're going to go into the live Q&A right after this. And so the live Q&A is hosted on Zoom, and it's really easy to get to. For everybody's like, well, Josh, I want to get in on the live Q&A. Well, all you have to do is just become a premium subscriber, $5 a month. I think it's like $5 a month. And the best way to do that is just go to redpills.tv. If you don't know where to go or how to do it, go to redpills.tv, hit that tab up there. It says premium. And socialredpill.com is our private social network. That's where you can get in. And there's a lot of other stuff over there. Then YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, $5 a month, YouTube subscriber, boom, you're going to get into the live Q&As. Locals.com, another way to get into the live Q&As. And then Substack, all of our premium members on Subscribe, and X and Substack, YouTube, Locals, and Social Red Pill. And so you become a subscriber. What happens is right after this show, I send out a Zoom link on for the premium members on all of those channels in the main chat on Substack. It's in the chat. You have to go to Decentralized Media, and you'll see it come up. And then you can jump into the live Q&A with myself, and that'll go for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm looking forward to the conversations that we're going to have tonight, because it's been a lot of interesting things happening throughout this week. Today, Pam Bondi testified behind closed doors about her time as Attorney General. And what did she say? Well, apparently she was blaming AG Todd Blanche for the chaos behind the Epstein files. But she came out on X and said, no, I didn't. It was the Democrats making this shit up. Now, I think what happened is Pam Bondi most likely said I handed it off to Todd Blanche, and Todd Blanche did with it what he thought was right with it. Now, why were the Epstein files basically shut off right there at that time? Well, there's a good reason for it. A lot of the information that is coming out right now, a lot of the rumorville and the conspiracy lore, and a lot of the pertinent information is that the next tranche of Epstein files, if they were ever released, come from intelligence agencies, and these pertain to financials. The financials begin to point to the New Albany Company. They begin to point to the Southern Trust Company. And then you get to see what Jeffrey Epstein was doing and who his clients actually were. Clients like the Central Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Department of Defense, the Mossad, various other organizations around the world. Now, why is that important? Because Jeffrey Epstein wasn't selling intel and information. Jeffrey Epstein was procuring children for scientific experimentation. He was procuring DNA information for large Google AI data models. And see, that's the scary part that they don't want to release out there. The reasoning behind a lot of the stuff that's happening. And just this week, we saw a report that came out claiming that the CIA was working with 23andMe to honeypot DNA information. And I laid all this out for everybody months ago that, yeah, absolutely they were. 23andMe, Ann Wachowski, married to Sergey Brin. Sergey Brin, one of the CEOs of Alphabet, of Google, founders, funded by In-Q-Tel. Direct CIA correspondence right there. Google has Alpha Genome, which just launched a few months ago, which aggregated about 5 to 6 years of medical and DNA information from unknown sources. Put it all together. I think people begin to see the bigger picture there. And, you know, I understand the DOJ in Donald Trump is that if that type of information was released, that would have more harm than good. When they declassify something, one of the things that they have to ask themselves is, number one, is the people involved in this classification, the processes, the methods, and the information pertaining to the people involved in it, are they still alive, and would they become a victim of violence because of this information? And if that's a yes, then that information is going to stay classified. So I think that's one of the determining factors that went into a lot of this. But I believe that the Trump administration is handling a lot of this stuff on the backbone. Let's at least hope that this is happening. Donald Trump today, shockingly, A judge appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, Christopher Cooper, ruled that the Kennedy Center, which was was going to close in early June for a large-scale renovations and construction due to years of neglect, decay, and poor maintenance, of which was to be transformed by the Trump administration into the finest facility of its kind anywhere in the world, is not allowed to close for these renovations, which would not be possible to properly do without such a closure. Additionally, Judge Cooper ruled that 36 member board of trustees, which unanimously voted to add the name Trump onto the former Kennedy Center, making it the Trump Kennedy Center, did not have the right to do such an addition, and the name Trump must be removed. So, more radical judges opposing Donald Trump, but they're no longer picking the battles over every single thing. Instead, now they're just going after just a little nitpicking. Things like Donald Trump's name on the Trump Kennedy Center. And, the idea is that they're showing their true colors. And I think that a lot of these radicalized judges are laying in the backdrop. They're waiting. What are they waiting for? November. See, we're in the midst of a red wave. Whether people want to believe this or realize this, it is going to happen. You have Democrats, which are broke, Act Blue under investigation, the NGO infrastructure being dismantled under DOJ investigation, all the fraud and the USAID that was going overseas dismantled under investigation. You have congressmen and senators resigning, losing primaries, not seeking re-election. There is a big problem in Washington. There is panic in D.C. And see, when it comes to the election time frame, there's a certain few things that are going to happen before them. Probably a national emergency on election integrity and infrastructure due to Tulsi Gabbard's report that's going to probably come out by the end of the month, and some declassified information that we're about to see come out as well. With a national emergency and Trump's executive order being put in place, we could see a very safe and secure election period. With that being said, we have the potential to get House majority of the Senate and the House of Representatives. If that came about, that's a red wave. That red wave is then going to get contested by the Democrats. What do I mean? You remember when we were talking about after the 2024 election, there was rumors that in the left, a conspiracy started, that Trump stole the election, that Trump and Elon Musk stole the election. They spoofed the ES and S machines by changing the tallies of the votes. Where have I heard this before, right? More recently, you have Ashley Sinclair. This is Elon Musk's last baby mama, radical sleeper cell Democrat, comes out and says that Elon used hundreds of laser satellites to steal the election. What she said don't even freaking make sense. Satellite lasers, laser satellites, whatever the hell, makes no sense. And no, you can't steal an election through that methodology. But it is setting the precedent. It is setting the precedent for November, because what's going to happen is when the Republicans win the House and the Senate majority, there is going to be massive contention, pushback by the Democrats claiming that the midterm elections were stolen. And they're going to utilize the motivations of all the Trump administration unveiling all of this, the national emergency, the executive order, DNI Tulsi Gabbard's election integrity and infrastructure, task force investigation. They're going to use all of that saying, hey, if you want free and fair elections, we got claims right now that this election was stolen, so you need to investigate. They're going to do this. And they're going to have all of these lawfare judges begin to show their true colors. This is my thought. They stole Massey's election. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. All right. So that's what I think we're going to see come November timeframe. It's going to be a shit show, but I think that we're going to prevail. They're not going to stop what's coming. All right. Going in here real quick. And I want to just refresh this real quick while we get a few different things going on here. What the? Wait. Okay. The naval blockade is being lifted. This is what we all woke up to this morning. Trump coming out, Iran must agree that they'll never have a nuclear weapon or bomb. The Hormuz Strait must be immediately open. No tolls for unrestricted shipping traffic in both directions. All water mines, bombs, if any, will be terminated. We have removed through detonation numerous such mines with the great underwater mine sweepers. Iran will complete the immediate removal and or detonation of any mines that are left, which will not be many. Ships caught in the strait due to the amazing and unprecedented naval blockade, which now will be lifted, may start to process and heading home. Say hello to your wives, husbands, parents, and families for me from your favorite president. The enriched material, sometimes referred to as nuclear dust, which is buried deep underground in virtually collapsed mountains caused by our powerful B-2 bombers' attacks 11 months ago, sitting on top of it, will be unearthed by the United States, which it is agreed is the only country along with China with the mechanical capability of doing so, in close coordination and conjunction with the Islamic Republic of Iran, plus the International Atomic Energy Agency, and destroyed. No money will be exchanged until further notice. Other items, or far less importance, have been agreed to. I'll be meeting now in the Situation Room to make the final determination. Thank you for your attention on this matter. That's what we all woke up to. Well, interestingly enough, the multiple factions in Iran just published a point-by-point rebuttal to Donald Trump's Truth Social post. Their version of the deal: no clause requiring Hormuz to be toll-free, no uranium destruction, two things Trump didn't mention at all, $12 billion in frozen assets released immediately before anything else moves, and a ceasefire in Lebanon as a precondition. So Trump announced the deal where Iran gives up its nuclear program and opens Hormuz for free. Iran announced a deal where the U.S. pays $12 billion up front and stops the Lebanon war first. It's not the same deal. In other words, Trump is basically saying that who he was negotiating with, and this is from Azmir, the mediator in Pakistan, whoever he's negotiating with, they agreed to these terms. Now Iran is coming out and saying, no, they didn't agree to these terms. Immediately after Iran's rebuttal, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent announced that they have seized over $1 billion worth of crypto from Iran. And then what we get, Oman and Iran issued a joint statement on Hormuz committed to the freedom of navigation in accordance with their sovereign responsibility over the territorial waters. The phrase is doing enormous work, sovereign responsibilities, their waters. Trump announced no tolls and unrestricted access. Oman and Iran just described the strait managed jointly by its coastal states under international law. Now, this is interesting because if you go pre-Iran war timeframe, there was no tolls within the Strait of Hormuz, but Iran had full military capacity over it, and this is how you get the Iran terror premium. Basically, the Ayatollah comes out, threatens the Middle East or the Strait of Hormuz. Lloyd's of London increases the insurance premium. You get the price of a barrel of gas and oil increase $5 to $15 per average over 47 years. That's trillions of dollars. You get the London bankers who know Lloyd of London is going to go out there and increase the insurance premiums. They know gas prices are going to go up. They go out to the trade market. They buy up all the futures contracts and resell them for profitability. This is how the London banking cartels have operated in the Middle East and controlled the oil and gas prices for a very, very long time. Iran really never got anything out of that other than just being controlled and used as an intelligence asset. So what you're seeing right now is that the hardliners of the IRGC, which are now kind of free from the grips of the British empirical control model, because Donald Trump has shown that China and the United States have the capability to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and that they will insure any vessel. So if anything ever happens like that, and removing the Ayatollah, basically a controlled asset of the British imperial empire, that no longer going to happen. He freed them from that grip and control. Now what's going on is IRGC hardliners are seeing the opportunity to basically compensate themselves and regain control over the Straits of Hormuz. Here's the truth in the matter for everybody out there who's confused by this. Iran and Oman do not control the Strait of Hormuz. The United States does. Right now, there is a naval blockade within the Strait of Hormuz. Period. And it's being done by the United States Navy. Period. Like the U.S. military shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and it's been shut down for over 30 days. There's no, so the question is does Iran and Oman? No, they don't. The United States does. And Donald Trump can give back that control under the terms of which he is demanding. Now, the United States can go out there. They got the Strait of Hormuz closed down, and they can start letting people through. We're going to see how this plays out. I think there's about some shit about to hit the fan with a lot of this. If you remember yesterday, Trump was saying they are very good negotiators, they're crafty, but we hold all the cards because we defeated them militarily. Their military was the number one strong point over the control over the Strait of Hormuz. They've lost that, systematically lost that. Scott Bessent on Iran. We did not have regime change, but we changed the regime. First level leaders decapitated, second level leaders decapitated. Turns out the third string gets a seat at the table. Jamie Dimon today coming out saying, hey, Iran is having a nuclear weapon may be the biggest threat facing mankind. Now, we know that this isn't about nuclear weapon unless you're looking at it in a symbolic context. The ability to shut down global energy in the midst of an AI revolution. That's huge. Now, I've talked about this at length before, but Trump's capability to go in there, to use the Department of Defense and shut down the Strait of Hormuz, this isn't just a message to Iran and the neighboring Middle Eastern nations or Europe. This is a message to China. This is a message that, hey, look, we can blockade with very little assets this very, very large strait, which means that the Strait of Malacca, we could easily blockade as well if we wanted to. That if war did break out between the United States and China, stopping that war or stopping China's progression would be fairly simple. This is a massive signal from Donald Trump to the globalists, to the Europeans, to the Middle Easterns, and to China specifically, that he's not screwing around and he holds all the cards militarily. So, after all of that, today we get the U.S. Navy Central Command has warned mariners that CENTCOM will conduct military operations in the Strait of Hormuz, north of Oman's Masudan Peninsula. The notice carries 2 pointed messages. U.S. Navy sent advised vessels to coordinate with the United States when transiting the strait, and it warned that any vessel caught laying mines or supporting mine laying will be targeted. The U.S. is telling ships to clear their passage with Washington rather than Iran permit authority. This directly challenges the PGSA system Tehran built to control the Hormuz. It is Trump's "we're going to watch over it" turned operational. As he weighs in final determination on the deal, the Navy is standing up an American transit regime in the strait. So what did I just say a few minutes ago? Is that who controls the strait? The United States does. And what Donald Trump is now doing is ordering the United States Navy to basically permit the accessibility through the Strait of Hormuz, not Oman, not Iran. This is going to have devastating effects for Iran. Basically, the way we're looking at it right now is Iran militarily is defeated. The IRGC hardliners still have a lot of fight within them, still have hypersonic missiles. They could still wage a full war within the Middle East and destabilize that zone massively. But Donald Trump has already played his hand and showed them exactly what his next move is. His next move is to basically bomb the dams, bomb the roads, bomb the energy infrastructure, and decapitate the next level of leadership, which is the last level of leadership. In other words, if Iran goes back into a kinetic conflict with the United States of America, they get pushed back 20 years. And right now they might be a first world nation, but they'll be a third world nation tomorrow if this progresses militarily. Hence why Donald Trump's saying, we hold all the cards. Militarily, they are defeated. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I think Trump is going to continue to put the pressure on Iran economically, as well as not allowing their tankers to navigate the Strait of Hormuz, allowing other tankers to flow freely through the Strait of Hormuz. He's going to try to control it fully, which I think he has the capability to do. And that if Iran does any type of kinetic action against the United States of America, that's when all hell breaks loose. Now, we're hearing that Donald Trump is staying in Washington, D.C. this weekend and potentially working on the Iran deal. I think that that could be indicative that maybe we see strikes this weekend of IRGC hardliners. It depends on how the intelligence is. I think that one of the reasons why that they've been waiting so long to kind of coordinate a strike is you can't tell the people, you have to show the people. And think about this. Donald Trump's coming out there and saying, hey, we got a deal. It's great. We're going to do this. We're going to open it. And Iran comes out and says, no. Like, you just agreed to this. No, we didn't. And so he's showing the world the factionality of Iran, that they're not all sunshine and rainbows, that they're very hard-line people, and that this is giving the United States massive amounts of intelligence over the course of the last few months to understand the movements of the leadership of Iran, of who they are organizing in what positions and how they are rebuilding and rearming. And I think that the next kinetic strike that they do, a large-scale bombing campaign, is going to be a decapitation event of the IRGC itself. And I think that this is what they wanted in the context of an actual regime change. They want the civilian factional government to actually rise up the power above the clergy and the IRGC. It doesn't really, I don't even think he really cares too much about who's in power and control as much as giving the power of the government back to the hands of the Iranian people. That's the goal. So last night, we hear in Romanian, a member of NATO, they were attacked by a Russian drone. Oh no. Yeah, Russia just apparently flew a drone into a random apartment complex in Romania. And Ukraine's freaking out and Europe's freaking out. And they're like, oh my God, we need to go to war with Russia. And Putin was asked today, can you say where the UAV came from before running a forensic? This is what nobody can say where the UAV came from before running forensics. They said Russia is hitting us. Then it turned out those drones actually came from Ukraine. Putin said, I don't know what drone. Please tell me what information it is the media has. A drone hit a residential building in Romania, and they say that it's a Russian drone. Who said that it's a Russian drone? Reporter said, many people. Putin said, many people mean no one. Who? Reporter Ursula von der Leyen. Putin said, well, she didn't go to Romania. She didn't look at the drones. Nobody can say where the UAV came from before running a forensic analysis. Now, what are we hearing on this situation? This is where it gets interesting. Apparently, this was coming over, I believe, the Black Sea, Russian drones, and they were intercepted by Ukrainian missiles. Deviated the debris of the drones into Romania. Then they blamed it on Russia. Now, I don't think that this is going to instigate Article 5 of NATO and bring about an all-out war, but what it did is it's marking a massive retaliation by Russia. And Russia has been ramping up all of their military efforts within Ukraine over the course of the last week. Reason being is they want this to end. They're done with the war, not because they can't sustain or fight it, but because they know that if this continues any longer, that they have to play their final end game, and that is the decapitation of Ukrainian leadership. And I think that that's what Putin has been waiting for all along. I thought by springtime he would have taken Odessa. But, by the way, that drone incursion that we just talked about was actually over in near Odessa. And I think that what Putin is going to do next is going to probably try to take over Odessa and do a decapitation event on Ukrainian leadership, which might prompt the rest of the European empirical system, UK, Germany, France, so forth, to rise up in warfare against Russia. But the only reason that he's held off this long and not done that is specifically for this reason, because he knows that Europe will engage in all-out war if he takes over Ukraine or removes Ukrainian leadership. So what we're seeing right now, Russia is preparing for what looks like one of the largest combined strikes on Ukraine tonight. Tu-95 bombers loading cruise missiles at 2 air bases, Tu-160s at 3rd, Iskalanders, Sirkrons, Kinzhals, Kabir missiles from ships in the Black Sea, the full arsenal on the table simultaneously. 9:30 p.m. to midnight local time, any minute now that this is supposed to begin, which is interesting about this, because this is all being reported on the mainstream media, is that earlier yesterday, Ukraine apparently received fresh PAC-3 and IRIS-T interceptors just hours before this was supposed to go down. Now, the IRIS-T are made by German weapons manufacturers, and the PAC-3 are made by Lockheed Martin, but are actually bought and sold to the UK, France, and Germany. So what we have is European nations going out there and arming the shit out of Ukraine before this mass-scale attack that I think potentially could be an attempted assassination or a decapitation event on Ukraine. Why? Last week, we saw a massive bombing campaign inside Kyiv by Russia. This wasn't like This wasn't Russia just kind of lobbying missiles into Kyiv. This was them testing their air weapon defense systems and then recalibrating their hypersonic missiles to basically get around them. That's what that was all about last week. I think Putin's done with this. I think he might go for the kill shot on Zelensky. That's my thought. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is in Singapore at a international conference, and he says here, I'll let him say it. I'll let Pete Hegseth say it.
The era of the United States subsidizing the defense of wealthy nations is over. We need partners, not protectorates. We seek alliances built on shared responsibility, not dependency. This is the maturation of our alliances in a new era. It's a vision that puts our alliances on a sustainable footing, ensuring they are fit for the challenges of this century, not the last. This shift is not a matter of choice, it is a matter of strategic prudence. The National Defense Strategy makes clear that the old toothless, utopian, and globalist course of foreign policy was headed for a disaster. That all changes under President Trump. Our approach is one of flexible, practical realism that looks at the world with a clear-eyed perspective that is essential for serving vital interests. And nowhere is this clarity more important than in the Pacific.
Monumental in what he just said, basically wrapping up the entire national defense strategy within 1 minute. We need partners, not protectorates. We seek alliances built on shared responsibility, not shared dependencies. I absolutely love that because that is a great way to reframe your whole military complex towards one of force expression and not one of force defense, right? All right, so where are we at? We got a few more stories left. Man, we whipped through all of this stuff tonight. Just as a reminder for everybody out there, we will be going to the live Q&A right after this. That is on Zoom. You just have to become a premium subscriber on the channels. You are on YouTube, X, Substack, locals.com, socialredpill.com, which is our private social network. And I'm out in Substack, and I already said Substack, didn't I? And X, yeah, so X Locals, YouTube, Substack, and socialredpill.com. So you can go on out there. I'm going to get into a little bit of the UFO news because I was just on with Jaco and Scott McKay, and I talked about this topic, and I think that this is the most important topic that nobody's talking about. Many people are believing that there is resistance within the government to release a lot of this, that intelligence agencies, the DOD, that there are infrastructures built in that are protecting this information from getting out. And I do believe that. I think that that is true. What you have in government, one way to look at government is factionality of power and control. Now, imagine this for a second, is if you have $10 billion of reallocated black budget funding that's going out there, and it's funding the reverse engineering of these projects and these other projects to go out there and acquire these craft or however means they do and search for the technology. And that's a $10 billion a year budget. And you have, let's say, 2,000 people operating within that camp. That's 2,000 jobs that are no longer going to exist after this information comes out. And so there's a level of power and control that goes in from these factions to preserve that level of power and control. So we do have resistance by a lot of these intel agencies and the DOD to not let this information out. I think Donald Trump understands that. He knows that, but he doesn't give a shit because he has a plan. The plan is very, very simple. Tier 1 disclosure. Let out just the observationals, just very, very surface level stuff captured by all of our different agencies. And it's nothing that proves that extraterrestrials exist, but that a phenomena is being observed that is unknown. Number 2, bring forth whistleblowers and give them immunity. This is going to happen very, very soon, I do believe. This is going to happen probably within the next month to month and a half. I think by the end of summer, we should actually see this happen. But that's going to come after tier 2 level disclosure, which is what we're about to see over the course of the next few weeks. And listen to Pete Ducey here on this, talking about this specifically. This is an 11-minute clip. We're only going to listen to a few seconds of it.
Friday, May 29th, 2026. I'm Peter Ducey.
Hi, Peter.
The Trump administration has released troves of documents and information related to unidentified aerial phenomena, but questions and skepticism remain.
The reality of the situation is that pilots are reporting these every day to the tune of 3 to 4, almost 5 reports on average.
President Trump has pledged broader transparency, even when it comes to declassifying UAP files, or as many of us know them, UFOs. On May 8th, and then again on May 22nd, the Trump administration began unsealing United States UFO files, officially known as the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, or PURSUE, revealing images and other documents related to investigations into unidentified anomalous phenomena. While the releases got some attention at the time, the interest kind of flamed out. But at a cabinet meeting this week, the president claimed the issue is a hot topic and touted his transparency.
We're now releasing a lot of things having to do with space. It's people are very interested in it. It actually became the number one topic. We're releasing a lot of information having to do with terrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure if they would enjoy it. It's literally trending number one. Can you believe it?
UAPs might sound like the kind of stuff late night sci-fi radio hosts are talking about, but Capitol Hill has been taking the issue seriously for years. Back in 2023, several military officers testified in front of Congress, alleging the government had been concealing evidence. One of the former servicemen there was Ryan Graves, who says he has first-hand experience with unidentified aerial phenomena.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter.
So the public has been given all this information, but there are still more questions than answers.
There are. Now, interesting enough, Ryan Graves and David Grush are going to be in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill next week. And from what we're gathering, there are 10,000 more UAP videos yet to be released. And Ryan Graves is stating that some of these are as clear as day. They are in 4K resolution. Now, that's the tier 2 level stuff that I talked about, because after that begins to happen, FOIA request, all of the various different sensor data, and you're going to get it. Elevation, speed over water, all of these things. Now, why is that important? It goes back to the idea and the concept that we had talked about this week and last week. Eric Weinstein and other scientists that have been contacted by the White House Communication Agency on the best ways to bring about disclosure. The priests and the pastors and the Christian community being approached by the White House Communication Department saying, hey, how do we tell people that aliens exist? And now you have Jeremy Corbell and other people in the USO influencer community saying, hey, we're being contacted by the White House, how to get this information out there. In other words, the Trump administration is going to force the Black Project's hand. How does this work? You're going to have most likely immunity being given to these people after tier 2 level disclosure. Tier 2 level disclosure is what we're just talking about. Clear, very clear UFOs and videos that we can see and like, holy shit, that's a UFO, and doing all of these different movements. You're going to see probably videos like that in the next tranche or the tranche after that. When these things begin to come out, the scientific community is going to get behind this, and they're going to start asking questions. They're going to start contacting their people in the government. Then what you're going to have is a bill being pressed through Congress to give immunity to people that are operating in these projects. This is when people are going to come forth. They're going to testify in front of Congress. And then after that, you're going to have President Donald Trump sit at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office at 9 p.m. on probably a Tuesday night and tell the world that we are not alone in the universe, and he has been briefed, and that, yes, extraterrestrials are real, and they are visiting this planet. Once that paradigm transition begins to happen globally, we enter a new era. That it's no longer a secret. It's a very, very real thing and real phenomena. And then this is where executive reauthorization over this begins to happen, because now the secret is openly public. And executive reauthorization is going to happen through the Trump administration, basically going into these contractors saying, we know you have it here. We know you have it here. It's either Delta Force or you let us in. And they're going to take this back into the military control. And then you're going to see some government contractors probably get the commercialization of this technology. The science will be fed into artificial intelligence. It'll be distributed out through the rest of the world so people can learn how this technology operates. And now we make a 500-year leap in less than 20 years. And it's not going to all happen overnight, but it's going to happen very, very fast. Former White House National Security Council aviation security official went on Fox News and says some UFO technology is not man-made, and they are a threat to air traffic everywhere. Ryan Graves, we were just talking about this. There are high-quality UFO videos which will be released by the White House in the next few weeks. He told Peter Doocy, there's a spectrum in the quantity of the videos. We are currently seeing low-quality videos, but we are at the start of a regular release cycle that is going to go on for some period of time. From what I have heard, the videos will get more high fidelity and clearer with more context as to what these things actually are. Remember, I've laid this out, the 3 different phases and the 3 different tiers of how this all operates. Now, why? Because we are at the end of an era. We're at the end of thousands and thousands of years of deception, of control, of tyranny, of oppression of humanity. What has happened over the course of the last decade is that much of humanity has woken up, that we have become the media. We have taken back the idea and the domain of information, that we are now asserting our power and control over our own countries, of our governments, of the information that persists around the world. Not only that, is that we are saying that there needs to be an end to the way that the systems operated in the old days. The British imperial system, the Rothschild and the Sassoon family, conspiratorial systems, the New World Order, the one world government, the fractional reserve banking, that those things are outdated, that they're systems and mechanisms of slavery that have no place for humanity on this planet. And we're waking up to the revelation that right now, with Donald Trump in power and control, the most powerful human being on the planet, in control of the United States of America, moving us forth with an America First agenda, that we have the opportunity to build a new world, one that has a multipolar framework where everybody has the equal opportunity at the nation state level to compete, where citizens in this country and around the world have the ability to go out there and make a living without being suppressed by some type of construct that is meant to ensure that their scientific exploration, innovation, and research doesn't make it to the mainstream. That we're about to have a 500-year leap of technology in a very, very short period of time with the help of artificial intelligence, 40,000 different scientists, and the declassification of a lot of information, which is going to transform the whole foundation of this country and all countries around the world, including the space around us. That door is being closed on the old guard, on the New World Order. And we are entering into an era of the Trump world order. For sure, people, for sure. All right. I'm going to head over to the live Q&A. So if you want to join us over at the live Q&A, I hope to see you guys over there. Just $5, man, $5, and you get in on it. And so $5 a month, you become a subscriber. So X, YouTube, locals.com, Substack, or socialredpill.com. Socialredpill.com is my private social network. And you can find, or you just go to redpills.tv and you go to that premium tab, you can find where you can subscribe to, and it's all linked up over there. But I hope to see all of you guys over there. Don't forget to go check out all of our sponsors, Immune Modulating Mushrooms. I talked about a testimonial last night, but I want to say it here tonight. I had someone reach out to me. They've been taking the Coriolis Versicolor mushrooms for a few weeks now. And this person has multiple sclerosis. They walk with a walker, and they said they've been taking this for 2 weeks and are no longer in a walker. Immune Modulating Mushrooms, guys. petclub.redpills.tv. And then to help support everything that we do here, give.redpills.tv. I appreciate you guys, and I will see a lot of you guys over at the live Q&A. everybody else, I will probably see you Sunday night. We do have the Quantum Biology Revolution podcast appearing tomorrow. I do have, I think I have the Jaco, Scott McKay, and myself roundtable. I just did. I go really in depth into the UFO stuff. I will be posting that this weekend as well once I get a copy of that video. And then Sunday night, Q After Hours is returning. So much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. See most of you guys here in a few minutes. Bye.
There was a time when our children stood tall, hand on their hearts, one voice for all. There was a time when honor had weight, when the flag was a symbol, not a debate. There was a time when our history was known, with pride in the rules that made us our own. There was a time, respect for the brave, for those who bled, for the lives they gave. Now the homeland burns in silent war. Truth is twisted, we can't ignore. Voice still calls, we the people will not fall. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil under, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free, home of the brave. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time when truth was clear, when the media served, not ruled by fear. There was a time when leaders stood fast, guarding the people, defending the past. Now corruption wears a crown, lies are fed to tear us down. But Q said watch, and Q said see. The silent war will set us free. From the front lines, soldiers stare, wondering if we're still there. Their blood, their hope, their sacrifice will not be sold for a last price. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, the veil undone, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children what it was once like in the United States where men were free.
There was a time, the time is near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free,
don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation. I want you to get mad.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!